Geometry review number 2. In this video I'm going to look at numbers 12, 13, and 14. In number 12 it asks us to reflect Wx, well that should be Wxy, across the line x equals 1 to create W prime, x prime, y prime. So we're taking this triangle and reflecting over this line x equals 1. Now remember that when they say the line, that the line x equals 1 is not actually there yet. So part A says draw the line of reflection. Remember that when x is equal to any number, and I'm trying to do the number symbol, if x is equal to any number, that's going to be a vertical line up and down. If it's y equals any number, that's going to be a horizontal line. So for x equals 1, I'm going to go to positive 1 on the x-axis, and I'm going to draw a dashed line through that point, positive 1. So this is going to be the one I'm going to reflect over. Now if I'm using the tracing paper to help me visualize it, I'm going to trace the dashed line where I'm reflecting. I'm going to trace just a little bit where on that point I'm reflecting through, just so when I know I'm no lining it up when I'm flipping. And then here's your original triangle. This is the original y, this is w, this is x. So now when I flip, the reflection is a flip. This shows me as I reflect where all those points should be going. So notice that the point y didn't go anywhere, it just stayed right there. So that's going to be y and y prime. Lining it up. Now again, w is over here, down 1, x is over here, so that kind of gives me an idea where to plot them. Looks like w prime is going to be there, and x prime will be right here. So there is part B. It says reflect wxy and label its image. I've labeled y prime, w prime, x prime. I just have to connect them. So there's my reflection. Now it says state the coordinates of w prime, x prime, and y prime. Y prime did not change. It didn't go anywhere at all. That's at 1 and 5. W prime is -4 and up at 6. And x prime is -4, +2. So there's number 12 with the reflection. Number 13 says use the grid below to complete the following transformations. Part A, rotate triangle FLP 180 degrees about the origin and label its image F prime, L prime, P prime. So now, again tracing FLP. There's my plus sign in the middle at the origin. Remember, this is about the origin, so I'm going to put my plus sign there. 180 degrees won't matter if we go clockwise or counterclockwise. There's 90. Again, look at the plus sign lining up with the grid. There's 180. So now I've got, whoops, there we go, F prime, L prime, and P prime. Looks like L is all the way at the very bottom. Whoops. And I think that one right there. Yeah, so there's L prime, F prime is -2, -3, and then P prime is out here in -6, -5. I think that's it, yeah. P prime, connect those three, and there's my rotation for part A. And then it says reflect F prime, L prime, P prime across the x-axis and label its image F double prime, L double prime, P double prime. Be very careful which one they're asking you to reflect. Here's saying F prime, which means this new shape, that's the one that has to reflect. Now if we're going to cross the x-axis, I'm going to try this without the tracing paper. There's the x-axis, that's the line I'm tracing, or I'm reflecting over. So this F prime has to reflect on this side, P prime has to reflect, L prime has to reflect. Now F prime is, notice, 1, 2, 3 spots away. If it's a reflection, it's got to preserve that distance. So if it's 1, 2, 3 units away, it's got to go 1, 2, 3 on the opposite side of the axis. So there's F double prime. Same thing with L. That's 7 units away. So up 7 units. There's L prime, or sorry, double prime. And then P is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the same distance. And there's my new reflected image, the second one. And oh, I think I did this wrong. That should be an F and that's P double prime. So there's the labeling, there's both reflections. Number 14 says use Sam's logo to answer the question below. Sam thinks the symbol is an example of a reflection. He is incorrect, and explain why. Excuse me. Now for the reflection, we have to take, what they're saying is that we should be able to draw a line. If Sam is correct, we should be able to draw a line, what's called a line of symmetry. And most people would want to draw it like right down the middle. But if I draw it down the middle, if I flip this over, this is not the mirror image of this shape. This is kind of a U going this way, but these U's are going the wrong direction. So if I did try it over this line, it wouldn't work. If I tried to flip it over this line, this would flip down. Again, it would have to be like this. That U shape would have to be facing downwards, but it's not facing the right way. So here, explain why there are no lines of reflection, which are also called a line of symmetry. I couldn't draw that line where we can do that reflection over that line. Now it says, what is the correct transformation used to create the symbol? And again, we use the tracing paper so much. The only two moves that are left, if we're not going to do reflection, there's either translation, which is the slide, or rotation. Now translation, if I go back, I think I've got an example of a translation here somewhere. Yeah. This is a translation where it's facing the same direction. Notice it's not backwards. None of these symbols though are facing the same direction. However, if I do a quick sketch, it's got those kind of two U shapes, and I do a rotation. See how now the U's are facing, are opening the same way? And I keep rotating around that point, and I keep going around. That's why rotation works. So here, what is the correct transformation used to create the symbol? Rotation. And I can just say around the center because there's no graph, so I wouldn't call it the origin. But I use the center point to rotate around, so rotation works for that one.